All right, guys, welcome back to Dre Media. I'm your host, Dre, and tonight we are recapping the first after show of the Caucus Challenge Season 19 Unfinished Business. Tonight we have some guests here with us. I'm going to start off with Colt, our veteran. How are you feeling tonight, Colt?
Feeling feeling pretty vetty. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
different air. It's a different air here.
Nice, nice. And then we have three special guests with us tonight, three rookies who came into this game gun blazing. We're going to start with T. What's up, T? How are you?
What's going on? I'm good.
And then we've got May.
Hey, I'm here.
How are you? How are you? Ready to recap
I'm
tonight?
good. Yeah, I brought my own tea actually.
Oh, okay, okay. And last but not least, we have Andre. How
Hey,
are you
what's up,
doing
Brandon?
tonight?
I'm good. I'm just, chilling, ready to recap. Give the
Yes,
people what they
yes.
want.
All right, guys. Well, you guys put on a hell of a show for the opening episode of the season. I'm excited to see where this game goes. But I want to start off by asking, what was it like coming into this game? Cope, as the only vet here, what was your mindset walking into this game arriving?
I I was really excited because having competed as a rookie and seeing just how strong that vet camaraderie is, like I was chomping at the bit to finally be a part of it and to understand what it's all about, especially in the context of such a huge cast. I felt like it was going to pay dividends early, so I was really amped. Definitely had a lot of things on my mind and trying to, like, you know get back to a point where I could get some validation for playing and really just make up for how I went out in 18. So I was super excited.
Nice, nice. T, coming into this game, you mentioned you're a huge Survivor player. You love the game of Survivor. You mentioned in the trailer, you can't come in here without causing a little bit of chaos. So, what's your strategy moving into the house, never playing the challenge before?
I didn't do a lot of research about what I was walking into. Um, so it was just I just wanted to come in and win something finally. So really the goal was just to try and win something. It didn't really matter how. And unfinished business. I have some unfinished business with my good friend Emily Paddock. So my eyes were kind of set on one person. And then other than that, I was just, coming to play.
All right, all right. So, May, you came into this game excited. You raised the most money for the women, and it's your rookie season. How are you feeling moving in, knowing you have this advantage in your pocket? Did you tell anyone about the advantage
I
preseason?
told absolutely no one. And then a rumor ran around that I told other people. I was like, no, I didn't tell anybody, but I do have it. So But no, I think the most impression that left on me, like actually moving into the house, is that we were moving into like a Christian conversion camp. And my reaction really wasn't shown as to my thoughts and feelings on the house. And when you think of the challenge, whether it be DMP, whether it be like MTV's The Challenge, you don't think of a non-air conditioned bunk bed from hell cabin in the woods with no water source and communal showers. So that was a really big, impression as a part of my, rookie introduction.
For sure, for sure. I don't even think production was honestly ready for all that, but that was definitely part of the twist, part of the game. The house was very interesting. Andre, you're coming into this game new to the LRG community. You've played Survivor before, and you came in and said you felt very comfortable with your relationships and things like that. Watching it back, moving in and seeing, the meet the cast and obviously how round one goes. What are your thoughts moving in, and what are your thoughts now looking back at it?
Moving in, I truly was a little bit naive, I will say. I did think that some relationships that I've built from my very first LRG, which was a Survivor one, to this, I thought I cultivated some good relationships. And then now looking back at the Meet the Cast and the first episode and everything, I knew that I was just target enemy number one, public enemy number one at that point. I was not integrated as well as I thought I wanted to be. But other than that, I'm proud of the way that I came in, no matter what, because I knew I came in with confidence. And if you don't have confidence, you can't make it very far in this game. So I just wanted to, make sure that I wasn't the first person going home, whether it was a rookie or a vet. So I'm just proud looking back that I was able to, at least for the very first episode, make somewhat of an impact by winning the most iconic elimination in Jury Media.
Right. So let's dive right into the episode. Let's dive in right to the game. Kevin welcomes you guys. It's a cast of 27, and he doesn't tell you guys exactly how the format's going to be, but we'll start off with that. What were your guys' thoughts on the format, as in, the dailies? They're going to be going between individual, pairs, teams, possibly. And once you win, you're in this thing called the unit where you're safe, and you have to nominate 6 players, 3 men, 3 women. And then you're going to be voting one off to save while the other 4 go into elimination. What were your thoughts on the format? How do you feel watching it back? And where do you think this is going to take the game? Let's start off with May.
Great. As far as the format goes, like coming into the season, I was like, please, please, please let this be a partners game. Like I want it to be vets versus new threats, like a vet paired up with a rookie so that they couldn't just target the rookies right out. And I really want to be partners with Culp, actually. So it's funny that you're here. I was like, please just give me a good partner. So the first daily was individual, and it was cardio. I remember watching the episode last night with my mom and my aunt, and they're like, oh, how many times did you have to run? I said, me once. Because I was just like, it's not time to get blood on my hands. But as far as like the mixing up of, individual versus pairs versus teams, I think maybe I shouldn't speak for any rookie, but just having someone to be with you as far as like a rookie paired with a vet, that's like best case scenario in my mind. Because if you're paired with the right vet, it could be a good thing for you. It could literally save you. So that was my thoughts.
T, how did you feel about the format?
I'm now a very big fan of the challenge, but at the time had no fucking clue what I was doing or what I was getting into. So like, I just thought I'm like, oh, we're going to play as a tribe, like, haha, Survivor. And then it was just a lot. Like, I was like, what in the fucking Johnny Stockton cast size is this? Why is there 27 people? So that was kind of like a little bit of a lot, but I had no clue what I was going into. I was just looking to like hurt honestly, like go in and do something really physical. You don't get that in Survivor.
Same.
But like Andre and I both are very, like, we're challenge people. We love to be doing the physical stuff. And like, I'm somebody who always pushes for like the more physical challenges in Survivor, and everybody hates that. So I loved just the idea of like coming in, and I was okay. Okay, I'll get thrown in. Like, I'll get to maybe pole wrestle, and then whatever happens, happens. So like, having very little knowledge about the game you're going into play is an interesting path to take, I guess.
Right. Colt, what was your initial take on the format based off of, last season was your first season compared to last season, you were one big team. Did you like this format better? Were you surprised? Like, what are your opinions coming into this?
I mean, even going into my first season, season 18, I didn't really have a lot of expectations in terms of the format. I grew up on the challenge, so I have an idea of the sense of whatever you think is going to happen probably isn't going to happen, or it's going to be drastically different. And it's no different with Dre Media and the seasons you've put on. So whatever I thought was going to happen going into 19, I didn't even think about it. All I knew is I had to stay in shape. I had to be ready to run. I had to be ready to, think. I don't know what's coming. And, preseason, you just, you catch wind of everybody who may or may not be involved. And it's just this growing cast. It like never ended. There was another name and another name and another name. So I was definitely amongst a lot of folks who were thinking, hey, this could be a pair season. This could be really dicey. If I got paired with any one of these rookies here, I would have been like, pretty cool, because they all have, reputations one way or the other that I think help balance me. So either way, what I go into these games thinking is how can I leverage, how can I leverage my strengths? How can I capitalize with somebody else with my weaknesses? There are a lot of bodies there that I know that I could bounce ideas off of and bounce strategies off of. So, boots on the ground, I thought there's a lot of opportunity to get really, really far. And just in terms of it being a little bit more individualized from time to time, also made me feel really good, because winning last season as a team was really good, but you really didn't get to like savor that victory as much. And I didn't really have a ton of power in 18, whereas in 19, I was really, really searching for that opportunity where I could, control a little bit more of the narrative going in.
Right. So we're going to dive right into the daily, because I see a question here and it says, Andre, after watching it back, who are you most surprised of targeting you? Which leads into the daily before we get to answering that. These three people here, actually, I don't think it was shown in the episode, but May had mentioned Andre in her confessionals, talking about how to him, she's with him, but he's a huge target and she doesn't want to be attached to that. T was saying the same thing. It was in the episode. And Cope, you told Andre to keep your name out of his mouth. So during this daily, we also see T, you come out of nowhere tackling Rhea, probably one of the strongest girls, biggest threats in the game. What was that like for you in watching it back and seeing all the hype of people hyping you up during that challenge?
Watching it back was mostly what could I have done to not have lost that situation. So I was pretty close to like, I think I held my own against Rhea, and like I know Rhea and I know Jason and I know their reputation of being like kind of this like power couple and really strong. And I say it in the episode, like I know what I look like, and I know that when people don't know my physical strength, and a lot of people who have played with me in this cast have played games with me that like that kind of physical strength isn't really shown. I knew what people were going to think about me, and like kind of seeing me as small, and I wanted to immediately wipe that out. I didn't want to be somebody who like, the one thing I knew about the challenge is like you threw people in. So I didn't want someone to throw me in thinking I was like a layup. So I wanted to go after the strongest person I could think of. And Rhea felt like that. And I knew that, solidified some things for me and it made me feel good. So I think I think it worked out despite the loss.
Yeah.
I think for me, once I knew that I really wasn't as good with people, I mean, these three included, I knew it was just do or die for me at that point. And I knew, since it being the first daily challenge, that they were not going to allow any rookies to win that, no matter how big or strong. It could have been Jared. It could have been me. They were not going to let a rookie win that first daily challenge, which is fine. It just sucked getting targeted that early, but I held my own. I got the first ball in the very first round. I was proud of that. And then in the second round, I knew I wasn't going to outrun some of the men, so I decided to stay back and try and see if I can tackle any of them. And I did. I got Ymir. But then I knew immediately once X literally lifted me off of him that I was going to be done at that point. So, looking back at it, there's really not much I could have changed in that situation, because every vet's mindset was either to get a rookie out or either to get me out. And I just fought as hard as I could. And I feel like I could have definitely gotten that ball out of Ymir if it wasn't for X.
Right.
It's
So,
so hard, like being wanted, you know?
Yeah.
so to piggyback off of that, let's address the situation now. Andre, what were you saying preseason? And Colt, what did you hear? Because there's a lot of he said, she said. Was it addressed? Is it true? Is it not? Like, and then the second part of that question is like one of Jay West asked Andre, watching it back, who do you feel the most like shocked that was targeting you?
I would say right now, like this whole thing about me, the only thing that was like true that I truly said was that I was going to never touch elimination. Granted, I was joking majority of the time because I knew I was a rookie and I knew I was outspoken and loud and abrasive and I knew that that wasn't going to fly well with the vets. But T knows my personality. She knows that I joke around like that. She knows that I'm not actually going to think that I'm going to come in and not actually go into elimination. What I did not say was addressed in both the Meet the Cast and episode 1 was me targeting the vets such as Culp and Jordan. Um, and then in the first episode, Culp said that he heard it from Noah, who heard it from X. And then there's another person who isn't even on the cast who I will not be addressing right now because they do not need the attention. I just think that it was just a bunch of hearsay. And if they wanted to come to me and talk about it, they could have, and I could have cleared the air. But they were already in that mindset of me being outspoken and they wanted to get me out. So they just didn't come to address me because they probably thought I was going to be an easy target to get out. And I wasn't, especially after that first elimination.
The
I don't know,
thing
Cole.
the thing we love about Andre, who is, by the way, now one of my best friends, just saying, is that
Yes, I love going to her house all the time.
he talks shit. And everybody knows he talks shit. And we love that about him outside of these games. But in these games, he talks shit. And so if you say Andre said something, it's so very believable that he did, whether he did or he didn't. So he's the perfect person to stir the pot with because Culp was like, all right, Andre has talked a lot of, a big game this whole time. So anything anybody says to me, I'm going to believe. He's the perfect target, really.
I mean, if there's one thing that you can guarantee going into the challenge is that any single thing you say will be used against you in any capacity. And regardless of what
Yeah.
that reputation is, you gotta toe a fine line. Regardless if anybody came to me or not about saying my name or this, that, and the other thing, just you saying you're never going to touch an elimination is enough for people to go, bam, that one there right now. Like, make it an
Yeah, I
easy
think that's fair.
situation. It's
I think
just,
that's
you
fair.
put yourself on that pedestal, and suddenly people are going to be like, no, motherfucker. Like, you got to earn it a bit. So that's number one. Number two, vets be tight, especially when they know they're going into battle together. So I definitely had a lot of calls from folks. I definitely had X in my ear who had Koa in his ear, and it's telephone, tell a friend, tell a lie, essentially. Like, not at some point.
Yeah, but if that was the
Who
case, you
knows?
could have come to the source as well, and I would have cleared it up and been like,
Sure, could have. I don't know you from, Mother Mary. The fact of the matter is you got to go with what your gut's saying at the time. You got to stick with the people you know, because quite frankly, going into this, that's really all you have until you can get boots on the ground, until you can feel some of these folks out. Turns out you're a shit talker. That's just what you do. And I can appreciate that now. And on top of that, I could learn how to work with that moving forward. I could learn how to use that to my advantage. I could use that to keep your ass safe moving forward. And, there's a whole ton of different variations of how that can benefit you in the future. But like in the moment with new personalities, you got to go with what you know and target the stuff that makes you a little bit uneasy. So that's kind of where that came from.
It sounds like you need a probiotic because your gut was totally off.
Oh my God.
Sorry, I was stewing on that one. I can like vouch for Andre that like I 100% was in group chats where he was like, I'm never touching elimination. Like, let's fucking go. We got this. But I never was. Like, Andre came to me and I did a confessional about this before moving into the house. He's like, you're my number one. Like, let's rock it. And my confessional was like, I don't want to be his number one because everyone's saying his name. But he even, in trusting me and being his number one, never said a name to me of a vet that he was targeting. So my question for you, Call, because I went in a very different mindset than Andre of like hyping himself up saying I'm never touching elimination. My mindset going in as a rookie was like, all right, I'm gonna touch elimination. And guess what? Both of us with wildly different mindsets both saw elimination right away. So as a rookie, what's your suggestion for future rookies coming in? Like, what mindset should they have?
So my mindset coming into this was there are going to be people that I've played with before in the challenge. And those are folks that I want to stay close with in the confines of this game. But this game is expanding. You know, Dre is not just pulling people. These, you know, I think of like Zay or Cam as examples of like legacy Dre Media folks that sort of are a tier of folks. And then there's like the next generation of Dre Media folks. And then there's like a new way, like there's tiers of relationships that you can have within the confines of the challenge and then outside the confines of the challenge. And then people are still going to fall into like almost the tradition of what the challenge is, which is like a vets versus rookies thing. I think you're seeing a little bit of that change. You know, I, for one, am trying to change that a little bit because coming into this game, the three of you, I only know of from other games and from word of mouth, but there's other rookies that I have played with and know a lot more about what their strengths and weaknesses are and how they can help me. So quite frankly, my advice is to use everybody and don't be closed off to like a faction. I mean, you could see it very clearly. There are alliances running rampant all throughout this season. And there are definitely things that I thought I was a part of. There are definitely things I'm only seeing for the first time. So no matter what mindset you think you have, it's going to change. It's got to be fluid. And I think I say it in the confession, you got to be loose and fast with the relationships because what's going to help you in round one could screw you over in round two really, really, really quickly.
Yeah. And then you said you were trying to change like the whole vets versus rookie things. Can you explain to me how you were doing that by nominating all rookies that second round when you had power?
Yeah, sure. I mean, there is an opportunity to change things, but at the same time, you don't want to go against the grain when there's
literally
so
just giving
many
you a hard
people.
time.
No, there's absolutely a response to that because it's me talking out of both sides of my mouth. But again, once you have that position, once you have that privilege of having seen this a couple times, you got to know how to balance it a little bit. And sometimes you got to break a few hearts before you take them out on dates later on. It's this weird balance. So some people, and you can even see like they're going to be in there, but they know they're going to come out of it with a lot of protection. A Parker, for example, went in knowing that he was probably going to get thrown in, and then he was probably going to get saved. So you also have to have a lot of courage as a rookie because you have to be willing to maybe, take one for the team, so to speak. I don't know. Like some people, that might be a great way to move on with. Other people might say, "Nah, fuck that. I'm not going to do that." And I can see three people who probably wouldn't do that right here. So it really just depends. For me, it was towing the bet line until I could find a way to maybe help myself later on.
So I saw a comment here and said, rookies never understand rookies versus vets until they become vets, which I might be biased, but I completely agree. As a huge challenge fan, I think being a vet means a lot in this game because if you come in as a vet and you automatically go against the vets, to me, it's like, all right, you can't be trusted, period. Like, unless I have a vendetta against you, like if Cope and I, obviously the last season were head to head, that makes sense. But I think like May, you had a lot of questions about like standing strong with the rookies. What would you three have done if you won if you let's just say two rookies were in the power, most likely the vets would have been up. So it's like rookies usually say like I don't understand the rookies versus vets, like it doesn't make sense. But let's just say T and Andre end up winning the first daily challenge. None of the rookies probably would have been up.
Yeah, but that's a secular argument, because the reason why Andre and I would have thrown in a vet is because of the natural inclination that a vet would have naturally thrown in us. And I think that this is where something that's going to change with, like Culp said, this new generation of Dre media, right? Because like you have always had people who have played Dre media and the caucus, and they're challenge fans, right? And so like now some of your challenge people are like, branching off, but like May is like a goddess in the Survivor community. Like, you know what I mean? Like this girl is Survivor. Like she runs Survivor games. She plays Survivor games. She hosts Survivor games. She prods Survivor games. I come from a Survivor background. Like, so you're gonna get people who are now coming into a game that has, and you see this in the real challenge too. Like you're gonna see a difference because the mentality of the people coming in are different. And like I remember having the hardest time playing the challenge because of the expectation of honesty. What? I'm sorry. The literal point of the game is to lie, cheat, and steal. In my world, that's what I do. I play Survivor to lie, cheat, and steal.
I unfortunately have to go. It was great talking to you guys. Hopefully we can talk some more. Peace out. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye, Andre.
Love you, bud.
Okay, so wait, T, just to piggyback off of that, because some behind the scenes is the night we moved into the house, everyone went to bed. Like May was like in bed by like 6 p.m.
Girl, I'm an old lady.
Everyone was like socializing and going to bed. The only people up were production, Jerica, and T. And T was like stressed, walking around the house, and we're like, T, what's wrong? She's like, I don't understand how everybody's asleep right now. Like how are people sleeping right now? Like right now my head's in the game. Like I'm like, trust me, it's the challenge. Like tomorrow morning cards are just gonna be shown. Like, and I completely get that, because in Survivor you don't know who really has you, where people stand. Like, yeah, people could lie to you in the challenge, but once they lie to you, you know they lied to you.
Yeah,
like, it's not.
And that's honestly, T, the way you came into this game is the way I came in to last season, because all I knew was Survivor. All I knew was to keep an eye over my shoulder because I didn't know who was coming for me. And when there were that many new Survivor players coming in, suddenly everybody is just a little bit more paranoid and making a mess out of things that people thought were surefire. And it was going to be an easy vote. And it was going to be an easy power. It was going to be an easy decision. It's a lot of different minded people that come in and really change the way and dynamic a challenge game can go.
I think that's where I went wrong too. Like you said, T, like my natural habitat is a Survivor game. Like I'm used to sleeping in the woods. At least we had creaky bunk beds this time. But I came in, like when I play Survivor, I have my people, I know who they are, and I lock in. Like I'm a loyal bitch. And that was my problem, because I locked in with the wrong people that didn't lock in with me. And unfortunately, as far as like, first of all, I want to address Jay West in the comments saying, do I keep this energy with the ladies? I'll keep this energy with everyone, honey. Culp's just the only vet here. And unfortunately, he's a straight male. So, but that being said, like the whole vets versus rookie thing, for me, I'm not like a vet strong, rookie strong kind of person. I'm an alliance strong person. If you're a vet and you're in my alliance, cool, then you're a vet. If you're a rookie and you're in my alliance, cool, then you're a rookie. Like it doesn't matter to me if you're vet or rookie. That's not the line I draw. And it just so happened that I feel like this season I was forced to do vets versus rookies because that's who wanted to work with me.
Right. Agreed. And I think just before we move on from the vets versus rookie thing, I will say the vets are coming in strong. Like I was shocked watching it. I'm still surprised at how well they did, at least these first 2 rounds, sticking to that with all the vendettas and drama and past rivalries. It's cool to see, I won't lie. But I also think it's like you said, May, and like T said, and Cope, and everybody says, it just depends who wins, because at the end of the day, I think there's always going to be that underlying like rookies versus vets, but obviously you're going to have your vets that you want to protect and you're going to have your rookies that you want to protect. There were people that wanted to, for example, I think T, you were up there for the first round as a pawn. You weren't supposed to be up like going into the elimination. What happened?
It's double T. It's tea time.
A lot of tea.
Time, hold on.
Sorry, the mic cut out, and so like I tried to reset, and now there's like 7 of me.
Unpredictable
My
the
worst
challenges.
nightmare, 17.
So I think that there's like multiple ways to look at it.
That's also my worst nightmare.
Sorry,
What's your worst nightmare?
70s.
Oh, 70s. Oh, wow. That'd be a lot. But yeah, so moving on from the rookies versus vets thing, the rookies get nominated.
I can't hear Dre.
You can't hear me?
Can you hear any of us, T?
I can hear everybody but Dre.
Oh no.
Hold on, let me try something.
I can hear you just fine, Dre.
Can you hear me now, T?
Oh,
No.
too gone.
Well, we're gonna move forward to how the eliminations work this season. You guys get to pick the category, and once you pick the category for the day, welcome back, T. You will not see it until all the categories are gone through. So you guys, majority of the house ended up picking physical. It ends up being a pole wrestle, and we have one of the elimination winners here, T. How was it playing pole wrestle? I know you were asking for a pole wrestle. You got to play it. You got to win it. Tell me a little bit about that experience, and then Cope and May watching it. What was it like?
Yeah, what you don't see in the episode is my pregame interviews where I'm talking about how I desperately want to pole wrestle, and if I go in and get to pole wrestle, I'll be happy. So I was pretty stoked that it was going to be pole wrestle. Thank you, May, for winning that, because I'm pretty sure that I wasn't actually supposed to go in that elimination.
Anything for you, team.
So shout out to you, May. But yeah, and I felt really confident, which I also feel I said in the pre-interviews. I was like, oh, give me a pole wrestle. I'll beat anybody in a pole wrestle. And I said it in my interview there, tiny but mighty. I know what is behind my very tiny stature. And I like to show it. I like to prove it. So it was exciting to be able to do that.
May, Cope, watching it, the guys' heat, the girls' heat.
The guys' heat was fantastic. Like all 7 seconds, which is, usually how long a guy would last. That was great. No. I you know what? Shout out to the women specifically, because your heat, just the first heat, was probably the length of both guys' heats combined, which shows that you really won it. And as far as like small but mighty, I, for one, when I think of like someone that's playing these games that's really tiny, it's because you're all freaking muscle. So it's like you should never underestimate the small person because all they have is like training and muscle and endurance. So for me, I was very impressed, but I wasn't surprised. And you killed it. So.
Yeah. The women put on a show. I, for one, will never underestimate anybody's size, and certainly not the least T. So I fully expected to see the back and forth from both of them, honestly, because it's the pole wrestle is synonymous with the challenge. It's synonymous with Dre Media, and for that to be the first challenge out of the gate, the first limb, like you knew everyone was going to put their heart and soul into it, and it's one of those situations where I'm looking and I'm like, I'm glad it's not me. I love watching. I'll watch from the side.
Shout out to Rachel. She definitely gave me more of a run for my money than I expected. I think there was one part where like she had me at one hand and like almost had it out there. So yeah, it was really close. I think she just expected me to let go. But so shout out to that. Also, hurt back or not, I love my frenemy Bryce, but he would have not won that challenge. Whether he was fully healthy or not, it probably would have not taken Andre much longer to beat him. Andre, despite being one of my friends, is like just out of like put that to side, he's a challenge beast. I mean, the dude kills it. Like, he goes into survivor challenges and wins them. He's strong. He like kills board games like 3 seconds after learning them. The kid is just like, he's just good at stuff. So he would have killed that 100%. And like I said, Bryce, hurt or not, was not winning that. So I guess it was good that Bryce got the back injury to be like, I have the back injury, and not be completely embarrassed.
Also, wait, can we talk about Bryce's iconic moment where he was like, I may have a broken back, but at least I have a backbone?
Yes, we will get there. That's the end of the episode, so we will, because I didn't even recall him saying that, and I don't even know what got him to say that, but we will touch base on that. But to stay on track, we move on. It ends up being a fake out round. Kevin announces no one's going home. We're going to keep everybody here due to uneven numbers. Advantages and disadvantages are handed out, which we will address later on in the season. But we move on to the second daily, and it's called Pipeline. You're broken into teams of 4. And at this point, we see how you guys are working as teams, how you guys are, who's throwing challenges, who's flopping in challenges. May, you were not happy with Xavier. So how did you feel watching it back?
Is that Pinot Noir?
No, it's my older cat who's being a brat right now. Get down.
So for context, I had flown in from filming 99 to Beat 2 weeks prior to coming and playing Caucus Challenge. And if you didn't watch 99 to Beat, this was one of the competitions we did on the show where my team had to go into like sudden death, and we almost went home because of it. So when you were talking about the competition, explaining it, in my head, I was just having flashbacks to being under like all of that pressure and stressing out. So I was already stressed and trying to tell myself like, no, like you just did this. It's fine. Like we're going to kill it. And the one thing that I told my team is what gets people is they'll tilt their pipe too much and then it'll go so fast and you can't control the ball that way. And that's the one thing that Xavier kept doing over and over and over and over again and like freaking out. And it was frustrating because you can't control your whole team. You can only control yourself. So.
Cope, what did you feel about it?
I mean, this is one of those survivor games that you play every now and again, and you suck it the first time, then you can keep getting better. Rachel was the first person to like, a little bit of a learning curve for sure. You don't know how to like balance properly and the weight of the ball, but Rachel, she took a leadership role, and honestly, if anyone's gonna raise their hand and say, "I got this," let me like have at it, dictate. But honestly, I had a feeling that she knew how to navigate this. She herself had also just come off of a season of an LRG she had played this with. So she sort of helped line lead everybody. And, everybody on the team, I came out of that with the daily win, which was really, really cool because I haven't had one in such a small group. So it came with power. It was like really, a big win for myself and everybody on the team as well. Cam was super excited. It was his second. So like, I'm in there with a vet, 2 vets, and Rachel, I had a feeling it was going to go the way it was going to go, but we definitely went into that feeling like really, really confident. A lot of steady hands that didn't let go of things. That's for sure.
Nice. So we do have some other guests joining us. We have the star of the daily, Xavier.
Oh my God.
And the one and only Brady is here.
Hey, Brady.
Hey.
Hi, guys. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing tonight?
We good. Well, I'm good.
So, Xavier, we were just talking about this daily. Your team had a lot to say. They blamed you for it. What was going on? We saw you freaking out during the daily.
First of all,
what's going on?
y'all was blaming me the whole time. Meanwhile, it was
It
Bryce's
looked
fault.
like
Like,
Bryce on the
thank you,
screen.
thank you, thank
I kept
you.
turning to my wife and going, I can't believe Bryce keeps fucking this up. I can't believe Bryce keeps fucking this up.
And
And
then
then
as everyone's
May
like,
comes
oh,
on the screen and she's
Xavier,
like,
Xavier.
fucking Xavier. And I was like, what?
I'll say, wait, let me defend. It really did look like Bryce. But like, because you were holding your little pipe like this instead of like this, it would go like shoot so fast. And Bryce had, with his
Girl, I was
polio broken
nervous.
back, he had to run around and catch it because it was going so fast.
It was so much going on, so much pressure. Like I was just like, oh, what should I do? Like,
Well,
yeah.
I think watching it back, it was Bryce, but I understand what May's saying.
Thank you. I'm so glad you guys are on my side on this because it's like,
Brady, what did you think about this daily challenge, and what's your mindset right now during this game? I know you mentioned you threw a little bit of shade. You said the girls don't look too strong this season. How are you feeling at this point in the game, and what's the difference between this female cast and the past you've played in?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like what I said, when I said the girls weren't as strong, I felt like there weren't as many girls that, at least that I've played with, that I was necessarily worried about. Like usually there's like the Janices and the Maylins and the Nadias. So like coming in and not seeing any of those girls, I was like, okay, like this seems a little bit more my alley, more at my speed. I definitely came in the most like physically fit I've ever played in this season. I lost a lot of weight. I started working out consistently just to be healthier. But I mean, honestly, I came in knowing that there was a lot of gameplay going on that did not involve me. I knew that I was really no one's like first choice. So coming in, I kind of recognized the fact that there was a lot of shady shit happening behind closed doors, and people were like, oh, I want to work with you, Brady, da-da-da. But like no one actually like had me like in their top 2 or 3 girlies that they really wanted to run with. So at the end of the day, like I came in being like, let me stir the pot, let me have fun, let me redeem myself from last season, and let me be a little bit messy. And I think that this season was definitely one for the books for sure.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It's like for me, when I came on this show, I'm thinking to myself like, okay, it's one challenge of the day. We're gonna go to sleep. Another challenge the next day. We're gonna go to sleep. No,
Are you
bitch. It was the
serious?
whole
How long
day.
did you
I
think we were gonna be?
swear.
3 challenges.
I thought there were like 3 challenges and like the show's
Well,
done.
Xavier, tell us a little bit. You're an OG. You've been part of Drain Media since the COVID era. So tell us a little bit about that transition coming from TLWL and what that was like, and now coming onto the challenge. No spoilers, Brady and Xavier. This is live, so please do not spoil anything. But yeah, tell me a little bit about coming from that show to this show.
So first of all, I was supposed to be in the caucus season 11. I couldn't make it. I got the call. Sorry, Dre. So I had a family emergency. That happened. But I was seeing little clips of it like all the times because I followed the page. I had like all of this tags from you guys. So I was supporting you guys. But I was like, damn, should I go back? Should I not? Like I was so like eager to like text you and be like, oh Dre, put me on. But I'm like, nah, let me just wait. And then when you text me, I'm like, oh, a little vacation. So let me working a lot. Yeah, I need this. Let me go. Once I got there, that was not no like party, vacation, none of that. That heat, that running, all of those mosquitoes, all of those drink from the fountain, all of that shit was crazy. Huh?
And getting up so early every single morning.
Girl, I barely slept. It was so hot in the house. Like
Coldplay gets up without time for work anyways, because he like commutes 4 hours to get to his job.
Yeah.
He was probably
I'm up at 5:45 at the gym. I'm not just blowing smoke. I actually am.
I go to bed.
Hope doesn't just work out for these LRGs. Like
no. If you've seen the Instagram, you know. You just walk another day at the office.
I remember someone hitting me up like, how are you not training for the caucus? It's like 2 days from now. I was at the beach getting drunk. Like, it's not girl.
That's practice too. Just
literally, I didn't know what I was walking into, guys. So y'all can be judging me. So
Cole, you end up winning the second daily with Rachel, Cam, and the felon. We'll call her that today. Um, and what was your mindset going into it? Because going into the unit, because you looked nervous when it was announced like you're going to nominate 6 people. What was your mindset going in there?
Having power, great. Having to throw names out when there's a lot of bodies still left in the game, not so great. Anytime you have to throw a name out, it's going to come with some blowback. The only silver lining to it all was that it was still early. There was an opportunity to lean into the vet versus rookie narrative early on. It wasn't going to be a shock, to be honest, despite how we came out. And, you know, the way we decided to work it with Cam and I deciding on what girls were going to go in, and Rachel all by herself deciding on what guys were going to go in, we felt like, you know, some plausible deniability on both sides. We already had one elimination to kind of work off of, too. So we had some momentum. And we still had the opportunity to say, here's who we want to push. Here's who we want to save. Let's spin some narratives. Let's try to get out of this with as few black eyes as possible. So we did take every second of the time that was allotted, because it's still a difficult decision. You're going to upset some people in the process, but it was really just try and toe the line as much as we could with what we knew we were going in with.
Right. So as for the rest of you, Brady, Xavier, T, May, watching these first 2 units, you guys obviously don't see it during the game. Was there anything that shocked you or anything in the premiere episode that you were like, damn, I didn't know that was going on like when you watched it last night?
No,
Yeah.
the only wait, sorry. You want to go first?
You can go.
Okay, so one thing that I want to say is that that in that first elimination, in the first round, this is the guy for me. But in that first daily, it looked like I gave up. It looked like I didn't want to run, or like I didn't want to do the challenge anymore. But Say actually came up to me, telling me, "Oh, give the ball to Cam, because Cam is gonna save you." Me, liking Zay a little bit. I'm like, okay, let me work with one of the vets. I gave Cam the ball, so Cam better be thankful, because if not, my ass would have been in that shit too. So, but I'm thankful that he saved me too. So I'm not gonna lie. Thank you, Cam. Give it to you. Whatever.
Brady,
But
what
yeah,
about
sorry.
you?
I didn't fucking know what was it? The cooking cousins. I didn't even know that was a thing until it aired. Like, call me like super out of the loop. I don't know. Good for them for going together for a cause, because I agree with what they were saying. But I was very surprised seeing that aired. But honestly, like, I'm so used to it, right? Like, every single season I'm left out of these big ass alliances, or I'm like the bottom of them. So like, for me, I was just like, another one, thank you. Another one I'm not in. So, I mean, I just feel like I play a lot of the time for other people, trying to please other people, and I feel like people don't really look out for me in the game, and it just kind of sucks. And that's why I'm so sick and tired of the whole vet strong thing every single fucking season and earning stripes. Congratulations, you can push your ball into a slot. That doesn't mean you earn your stripes. Like, at the end of the day, everyone's paying the same amount of money to play this game. Just because you have experience, like, sure, that should matter in some situations, and like seeing how people perform, but people should be able to earn their stripes in daily challenges. People should be able to earn their stripes through building relationships. And I think the same thing happening every season with vets this, vet that. Like, that's great. Have your people you want to work with, but at the same time, if you're playing the same way every season, it gets boring. And a lot of these vets need to be shaken up, and the wake up call needs to happen, because it's boring. I'm sorry, it's boring.
Especially we're coming for the rookies. Like, get a grip, change the narrative, and yeah.
But not all the rookies. Also, I hard agree on that, Brady. I'm so bad. I'm not a social player. Like, I'm not great at the social thing. I'm not like a pre-gamer. Culp, who I'm sure reached out to everybody, reached out to me. I talked to May a few times because like we played some games together. I'm like friends with Emily Paddock's boyfriend, so like I was around her occasionally before this happened. And those were my relationships. Alliances came on screen last night and I was like, what the fuck? When did that happen? I was also not part of alliances that like other people were part of that I should have been part of. It was very weird, the whole thing, but I get it because I'm not like the super social player, but I do think that if you have one person who's going to like work well with you and lock in with you, you should take it, whether they're a rookie, a vet. Mine happened to be a vet. It was clear that Paddock was willing to look out for me. Like 3 weeks before the game, we ended up going to a Yankee game together out of like randomness. And so like, it was like, we're going to play together. And then all of a sudden we kind of locked in maybe, but like, I didn't have a lot of trust from her because unfinished business. She had beat me in everything we had ever played. But I think you have to be flexible in terms of alliances because it was clear that there was a pecking order and people like me and Brady were certainly at the very bottom of that pecking order, despite maybe one or two random relationships.
I was really lost going in as far as alliances. Like me and T talked 1 or 2 times. We had like a deep alliance with another rookie that had to drop. And like, that is where my heart and soul was in that alliance with T. So going in, I was like, T is my number 1. Like, we got this. We're going to run it together. Like, she's running. And that wasn't reciprocated, obviously. But for me, as far as like you can't, when someone comes to you with and like being like, hey, do you want to be in this alliance? You can't be like, nah, I'm good. Like, good luck, fam. Like, you can't. How do you say no to it? You know what I mean? So it's like you have to be cautious because whatever alliance you're in, some people might not be 100% into that alliance, and like that might get leaked, or this might get leaked, or they might have priorities elsewhere. As far as for me, it's like if I'm working with you, I'm not mad if you're in another alliance. I just want to be your priority. It's like a relationship. Like, I'm not mad if you have other friends, but just like, remember me. You know?
And then like all the drops too. Like May and I were we're talking to a third person who wasn't there. And I think that when we showed up and that person wasn't there, it was almost like we looked around and we were like, fuck, now what? And we both kind of like ran to something different because 2 people feels a lot more,
I mean, I was
like out in the open than a third person. Yeah, but like and I think it's also playing with people who you've like made an alliance with on Instagram or like maybe have met once or twice, but you don't really know them. And so like May is really out there and social. And so like her being out there and social came off to me as like being in all these alliances where like that's just now who I know May is. But like I didn't know that about May at the time. You know what I'm saying?
when
We had
May
just
crashed
known
out,
each other over Facebook.
when she was
No
crashing out, I
spoilers,
was
no
like,
spoilers, Xavier.
sorry.
I was very social going to bed at 6 p.m. Also, if any of the rookies next season want to take me to a baseball game, I would be happy. You can take me to dinner. You can take me to a show. I would love to build alliances that way.
So, May, you end up getting nominated and sent into this elimination, but it's just for an advantage or a disadvantage. A little behind the scenes, I know you did ask to be sent in. So if you don't mind telling us your mindset at that point and how the elimination went and winning and all that.
Yeah, I mean, we had known that this elimination, at least for the women, was going to be for an advantage. I already had an advantage, so the worst thing that could happen to me was I just don't have an advantage anymore. I wanted to get my feet wet. I wanted to like wear off that like rookie anxiety, I guess what it is, and I kind of wanted to use it to build a little bit of trust between like myself and any of the vets that I could. I feel like my mistake this season was not being as social as I normally am, in my eyes. By going to bed early, everyone else was staying up, playing cards, making connections, like actually talking to people. I was trying to rest so I didn't die on a field. But that was a mistake, and it won't happen again. So I was trying to do anything I could. The first daily, I looked at Jordan and I said, hey, if I get a ball and you don't, I'll give you my ball because like you're probably going to win before I am. And that didn't happen. I didn't get a ball, so we will never know what happened from that. But then, anyway. Exactly.
So what were your opinions on the elimination? You know, you went in, you win. At this point, do you think like, you know, you offered yourself up, you said, hey, there's a clip that obviously didn't make the episode, but there's a clip of May telling them, hey, put me up, send me in, just don't do it again.
Period. Yeah.
So would you have, do you stand by that? And like, are you happy that you got this advantage moving forward now and all that?
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was the trying to offer an olive branch to people that needed. In the beginning, it's so hard to pick out of these names, even if it is going to be all rookies. I know you're already going to pick me, so why not make it a little bit easier for you? Maybe get some goodwill out there. We knew going into it that it was puzzle strategy,
mental,
and that's something like I love to do. So I was like, all right, let's just kill it. Like, even before we were going in, she's like, oh, I'm so nervous. I was like, listen, girl, like, this is literally just for disadvantage. It's going to be fine. You just need to calm down. Like, speaking up to like my competitor. So yeah, I mean, it was going to happen. So I might as well get what I can out of it by offering the olive branch.
Well, okay, so that really wraps up the episode that we saw on screen. I want to give a congrats to Colt for winning a daily, May for winning elimination, and T winning an elimination as well. You know, it looks like this season is going to be a good one. The living conditions were crazy. We didn't touch base on that too much. Obviously, it's not shown in the episodes as much, but the living conditions were rough. We were there during a heat wave. And from the preview of next week, it looks like things are getting heated. It's a double elimination already. Now that the game is officially starting and we're at even numbers, what can the viewers expect from you as a player from the season? And is there anything else you want to address before we end this recap? And we'll start with Xavier. No spoilers.
Always come for me first. We ask somebody else first, sorry. Because
All right,
I was
Brady, let's go with Brady.
yeah.
It's definitely a dynamic season. I think that past seasons, after the first couple episodes, you kind of had an idea of like where it was going, like where eliminations would go, who would go far, who wouldn't. I think this season that throws itself on its head. I think that it's a lot more unpredictable. I think the moments that get hot, the moments that get cold. I think that there's a lot of people who will be surprising with their gameplay and their strategy. I think this was definitely, I'm just going to say also to keep an eye out on the rookies, because the season I think was one of, if not the strongest rookie classes in Caucus Challenge.
Figured. T?
Yeah, you saw what I can do. So, you know, just get ready to keep saying it, I guess.
Nice. Xavier?
I feel like y'all was expecting me to be the party boy, I guess. You know, me coming into this game just like, you know, fuck around, like, sorry, to mess around with people and all of that. But I actually, you know, did my thing, so I can wait for you guys to watch.
And Colt?
Whatever you think is going to happen, it happens, it doesn't happen, the opposite happens all at the same time. There's going to be some uncomfortable moments. There's going to be some stressful moments. There are going to be moments that legitimately will make you cry. And all I'm trying to do is stretch some like strategic muscle, something that I really, really wanted to go into this season and try and do a little bit more of. So I think that if you've loved what you've seen of the Caucus Challenge so far, you're going to get it times 1,000. I promise you this season is crazy.
For sure. And May, what can we expect from you and this season coming up?
Drama. Tier, there's like Cobb said, I mean, you guys saw the previews. Like, there's like 8 people in the preview that passed out or like are like shaking on the ground. Like, we haven't seen any of that yet. You know what I mean? So it's a chaotic season. Things that were like, just like Cobb said, if you're expecting it, think again, because something else is going to happen. And for me, after this first episode, this is where I realized, oh shit, everything I thought that was happening isn't. So I gotta rev it up here. I think you'll be seeing a lot more of me.
Nice. Okay. So before we go, as Bryce said when he got eliminated, he may be the first boot, but at least he has a backbone. I'm not sure who he was addressing that to, but before we end this recap, I'm going to ask you guys, we're going to play a little game. Who was your favorite player during this episode, and who was your least favorite player? And it cannot be yourself. So we'll start with T. Who was your favorite from this episode, whether it was confessionals, strategy, etc., and who was your least favorite?
My confessional queen, Emily Paddock, is forever my favorite player. And my least favorite player, I feel like this is a trick question because I'm like, what if I come back? Okay, I think
It
this
could just simply be like you just don't agree with their game, or you feel like they're not playing
Cam.
well. Cam. Okay. Let's go with Cole.
Oh gosh. My favorite player was May. Even being on the ground with her there, it's different watching it back. You really get to appreciate people's strengths, especially when they're telling it from their point of view. So really, really getting to see what May was capable of. You know, impressive, really, really impressive stuff. And regardless of what you see, it's an impressive showing right out of the gate. Who was I unimpressed? Didn't like is I don't know. Gosh, part of me still thinks Andre was talking shit, so I'm just gonna let him deny all he wants. But quite frankly, I was this close to him at a Survivor party where he was like saying he was gonna walk in and never see an elimination. So I know the kid will say whatever he wants. So he's a little testy for me still.
Okay. Xavier.
Of course, I'm gonna say Zay because that's my baby. And least favorite, Cam. We just got into it today. And what's up? Like, yeah, Cam is my least favorite. You want to talk about that shit? So back it up.
Oh, all right, Brady.
I feel like my favorites, I always love to see like strong women kick butt. So T, May, Rachel, they all did their thing for sure. I think this was definitely they made it their episode. Least favorite, I would say the person that impressed me the least is probably Nate, because we didn't see much of him. He didn't really stand his ground or like really advocate too much for himself. He kind of just went with the flow, and I kind of like to see players really come back with a vengeance, and I didn't get to see that from him yet.
Okay. And May.
So I would say my favorite player. I have a favorite confessionalist, and then I have a favorite actual gameplay. My favorite confessionalist is Emily Paddock. Every time she's in a confessional, it is tea, it is truth, it is the word, it is like the 10 commandments of the Caucus Challenge. Is Emily Paddock in confessional? As far as strategy, who I think had the best strategy moving into the next episode from this episode is probably Rachel. She went into elimination, she put up a fight against T, and then she won the next daily and was able to have a word in edgewise with 3 vets that could obviously take control of everything. So she stood her ground and was able to have that communication and have her word in there. I think that's very important, especially being the only rookie in the group. So I really like that for her. I have the obvious answer for who our least favorite is Jay. I don't know why any of you didn't say it.
Girl, that girl's irrelevant. Like, who is Jay again? Like,
out of sight, out of mind. Didn't even think.
But no, I think there were a lot of people this episode that just didn't get an edit because they were, I don't want to say irrelevant, but they just didn't do or show anything quite yet. That doesn't mean that they won't. It's just this episode they didn't. So
yeah.
Are you throwing stuff at me, girl?
My least favorite player was X.
So to wrap it all up, I will say this is just the beginning to the most grueling season we have hosted. There's double eliminations, there's twists, there's going to be tears, there's going to be screaming matches, there's going to be medivacs possibly. So I'm excited for you guys to all watch, keep tuning in, keep showing love, and I'm excited for what the season's going to bring. I promise you, if you were entertained with episode 1, episode 2, 3, 4, and so on, are going to be way better. So, like always, like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. Thank you all for being here. The show would not be possible without you guys. And I look forward to chatting with you guys throughout the days, the weeks, and the group chat. Again, have a good night, and thank you guys all for the love and support. Till next week.
Can I say something?
Oh, what's
Jay,
up?
wait. Jay West, that's his name, Jay West. I hope I could play with him next season or something. He's cool. He seems like a cool person.
Not trying to build
Beautiful.
alliances.
Okay. Oh.
Thanks for having us, Dre.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys. Thank you for being here.
Bye.